Hey guys, Chomsky here. Um, Halloween is next week, right? Today's the 24th, and what's scarier than, I don't know, pulling a Brakus the Shifter um, when you're pulling some shards, some ancient shards or, you know, whatever. Um, just want to talk about them. Let's dust them off. You know what I mean? Dude was I mean, shit. He may have been like one of the earliest champs that you can get way back when. Frankie wants to say hello. Hey Frankie. Um Kind of a champ that was like really badass looking, but really didn't bring much to the table. I mean, aesthetically, just something that you would expect, right? This werewolf presenting creature and causing some terror and he and I think Miscreate Monster were one of the first champs to bust out fear as a skill. And I've had him for a bit. I have him +4. Let me hide this. Um, yeah, have him +4. And this doesn't happen often. Um, and and I just haven't really built him out fully. I mean, I've had him for stages in city and stuff like that, but as part of the new process of dusting him off, we're just gonna go through him and see if he's worthwhile busting him out from the vault in this current climate. So, reading his kit, uh, wow, unbooked. A1, attacking one enemy. He has that built-in lifesteal that he's healing himself by 15% of damage inflicted. So we really want to focus in on attack here, right? More damage means more heals. Sounds good. This was the big one. It's a 6 hitter. First hit has a chance of placing weaken. Heals himself by a quarter of the damage inflicted. Heals this champion by 50% if the target's under a fear or true fear. Okay, cool. A3 places an increased attack on all allies for 3 turns, and then attacking one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of true fear, has a 50% chance of placing a fear on 2 random enemies for 1 turn if the true fear is placed. Um, okay, cool. I personally I love those skills that or paragraphs for one, but also does some help. So here we have increased attack on all of our buddies, and then we have that fear mechanic. Okay, damage increases by 40% when this dude's HP drops below 40. Revives the active is he revives with 20% HP when he's killed. Immediately grants an extra turn. Awesome. Uh, this mechanic sneaks up on you. We really don't see him in live arena or basically in any content, but we do see him in Doom Tower from time to time, and it's just like, oh man, forgot about that. It's a 5 turn cooldown. Really, you're gonna use it once and that's it. Um, I think it's okay. It's good. I mean, it's a 5 turn cooldown, so like really, you're not gonna see this twice or 3 times. And if you do, then you're really getting into a stupidly long fight and against Brakus, really. And then I have him with Phantom Touch. He's 3 star, so just a third of a chance of inflicting bonus damage, and it's based on attack. So okay, like I think that's fine. Masteries, I didn't clean them out, but essentially I need to redo them. you know, uh, I basically want to make him not as a glass cannon per se, but I don't want him to have a lot of HP because I want him dealing a lot more damage. You know, healing, that's fine. If I was to do this again, I mean, maybe Whirlwind of Death just to gain a little bit more speed. This was back when Shields was a thing. Now it's Stone Skin, but it still works. You know, um, we could do Grim Resolve if we really wanted it, but this is fine, you know. And then for support, I I did Exalted Death. I don't think I've done this too much, but uh, again, the whole idea is for him to be killing as much as he can. I would maybe go for the charge focus just for the increased accuracy, but in the meantime, Exalted Death is fine. And then I want extra attack. Really, that's it. Um, so anything that gets me there does that up. Um, if I was to complete this, Hexer doesn't matter just because it's not going to increase any of my fear stuff. So this is one of those rare cases that you may not want to get all scrolls for your mastery because I'm not going to choose a tier 6 here. Fives are kind of a stretch here. I mean, lasting gifts to like extend increase attack. I'd rather save that energy in minnow and do someone else. This is interesting. You could go Giant Slayer because of all those multi attacks, right? And Giant Slayer procs on each hit, so he could do some ridiculous damage if this procs every time. But really, it doesn't. It's 30%, 30%. But when it does, man, that's a lot of damage. Helm Smasher is something that I usually go to for majority of my damage dealers just to ignore defense. Ignoring defense is pretty solid. Like, yeah, that's typically what I go for. You could go flawless execution if you really want to just have more crit damage, but it's usually these two that do it for me. Uh, and and again, ideally, you know, damage means killing. So I think kill streak is fine too, but I don't really see him in arena, and I don't know. I think there's other better champions suited for arena than him, but I guess you could go here. He just has to kill, so uh, make him as damagey as possible. So here I put on not exactly the top tier stuff that I have, but stuff I felt comfortable giving to him. So like he's empowered. There's some blessing. I have my faction guardians boosted. I have my great haul done, and all that fun stuff. But realistically, getting 110 speed out of your things, it's pretty fine. Uh, the attack out of my artifacts, 3,500 additional attack. I think that's pretty much on par with what a lot of people can do. And then HP as well. And you really want to get them as crit capped as you can, and with a decent amount of crit damage. And 160, I think, like I have them in crit damage gloves. So you may want to have crit rate gloves depending on where you are in the beginning. But as you progress throughout the game, you're gonna get more crit damage gloves. So, like, yeah, damage dealers, get on it, all right? So 98%. Typical Chomsky fashion, he's not 100. 288. Okay. I have some accuracy here. I'm not necessarily leaning into that fear mechanic that he has. It's nice, but I'm not leaning into it. Like, really, what I really, really, really want is somebody with decreased defense ahead of him. So, spoiler alert, Madame Saris with Brakus, and we're gonna go really old on this one, busting out Saris. But you put a Saris ahead of him, where there's a decreased defense, and like you just have him go nuts, and he could do some pretty big damage, man. And then I have Blessing of Phantom Touch. Um, he's 3-star, so I like that increased damage, or bonus damage potential. Uh, Relic, Death Bell, like I know what I just said, and this is contradicting it, but having the potential to have fear out there is pretty big, as well as the accuracy here. You could definitely make the case for um, an attack relic if you have it. But realistically, these happen a lot more. So we're going to get death bells. So let's use them. And here we're increasing our turn meter when applying fear or not, to enemies. Again, that goes to accuracy, so you may want to have some accuracy out there. And this is really accuracy dependent, so that's awesome. With um, with my doohickey here, I don't really have good hexagon pieces. And this kind of doesn't make sense because he's going to get 10%, he's going to gain 10% turn meter when he gains an extra turn. Really, this is it. Um, he doesn't need an increased turn meter because he immediately gets an extra turn when he revives. So that turn meter is basically for naught. So eventually, if I was really, really hamstrung on it, I would replace this, but it doesn't really matter too much. Because I don't have anything better. I have him in a Savage set and Cruel. We get Cruel from Clan Boss, as well as yeah, I think just Clan Boss. Um, so it's kind of obtainable. I want him doing primarily as much damage as I can. So once you get up to that level of getting Savage and getting them going, because again, stats over sets, but eventually you're going to move on to sets over stats. And I'm at that stage where it's going to be sets over stats. And I chose Savage and Cruel. And ignoring defense is always it's always ace. And then increasing attack. This goes in with Phantom Touch. So I think that's fine. Like it's a decent build. I'm not going to be winning too many live arena battles with them. But you could definitely take him in arena and kind of go nuts with them. And he's kind of fun. Uh, when I use him in Curse City at those stages, he's not bad. Like Fire Knight is a good one where you get to use a 6 turn or a 6 hitter. Um, and then a 3 hitter. That's not too bad. Um, so that it's okay. And then eventually just when the shield's down, there you go. You could do some dragon stuff with them. Spider, maybe not so much, just because these are. Um, this is one enemy. I thought this was a. There is no random, so it's all just one hitter, one enemy. So that's not so bad. So you could definitely bring him into Spider as well. Just yeah. Um, Outside of that, I don't necessarily see him too much in my current level. Uh, but don't let that dismay you. Like he's a fun champ to toss around in Doom Tower as well. Just to have it going. But yeah, old champ. I wish they would give him maybe you know just some more loving. Like him with maybe having some synergy with other champs. That'd be neat. And I really hope that that comes um, in the future. Kind of like how they're doing with Unity champs, maybe just a cross faction champ. That would be neat. But until then, we're stuck with Brakus being by himself. No, no buddy system here. But yeah, that's all I got for you on Brakus. A fun looking champ. Just he's gonna stay in the vault. Uh, yeah. Until then, hang out with me on Twitch. Know my Chomsky, and yeah, let's let's talk there. Until then, bye bye bye.